can this government limp on without five-star support?
No, I think that would be very complicated. What can happen is that from now until the discussion in Parliament on Wednesday, the political parties find a new agreement that comprises the five-star, because the paradoxical situation is that they've actually walked out of the Senate not to vote in favor of the government, but at the same time they've said they want to support the government. So there is a very big paradoxical element there. So the real chance, the real possibility is that they rebuild the present coalition, including the five-star. But if they are not able to do that, then I think that the prospects become more complicated, because an alternative majority would not be easy at all to build up.
Giovanni, I've spoken to a lot of people in the last 24 hours, and no one seems to think that a general election is a possibility this autumn. It's never actually happened in the history of Italy for various reasons, and autumn tends to be the time when they put the budgets together. So we are looking at a most likely scenario of a general election next spring. Isn't there a sense that we are just inevitably postponing the inevitable here? Because at some point, Prime Minister Draghi will have to step down and there will be a general election. And so far, the polls are pointing very much in favor of a coalition, potential coalition between the right and the center-right.
That's I think, a very credible way to put the situation. I'm not so sure that we should entirely rule out the possibility of an election in the autumn, in October, because I do agree with those who say that it is very complicated and that Italy has never voted during a budget session, and there is the war, there is the pandemic, and whatever not. So I also believe it is unlikely for us to go to an early election in October, but I don't think that we can entirely rule out the possibility. That being said, yes, the political situation remains very fragile, and the possibility for a center-right coalition to win the election either in October or in March or April 2023, that possibility is very real. So interpreting this as postponing the inevitable is a very, I think, credible and grounded interpretation. That being said, of course, time is relevant, and having Draghi for 6-8 more months is not irrelevant for the budget session, for the war, for the Next Generation EU. Having Draghi prolong its period is also a variable that should be considered into the picture.